You're just curious. Just slowly, don't go towards him.
And they got to the end of the road, turned right back around, and then very slowly.
Yo, hey.
Facing your deepest fears can be an overwhelming experience. But what happens when that fear means clinging to the side of a cliff on what many call the most dangerous hike in the world? This is the story of one man's relentless and terrifying attempt to conquer a mountain that seemed determined to push him back. A journey that blurs the line between bravery and recklessness. Ben Morris, a travel vlogger known for testing his limits, typically shares cultural adventures and exploration. This time, however, he set his sights on something far more dangerous, the infamous Huashan plank walk in China. Accompanying him was his friend Jamie, who shared his intense fear of heights. Their mission was simple: to complete the plank walk. But the mountain had other intentions. Their journey began with an uneasy arrival in Xi'an. A heavy, ghostly fog blanketed the city, offering a chilling preview of what awaited on the slopes above. With only 48 hours before their flight home, they decided to save the hike for their final day. A choice that would haunt the rest of the trip.
We thought we were going this way. Turns out it is closed in the winter.
It's closed in winter.
It's closed in winter.
It's closed.
We're trying to figure out how we get up the mountain without using the cable car. Very confused, we hopped in the 20-minute bus back down the mountain, then enlightened by the advice to just go back us.
You're not gonna open the store, bro.
No, shut up, stop, because it will open. Stop, please, Jamie. Look at this. Out the window, there is nothing. Oh my days, you can't see anything.
From the beginning, their plans unraveled. The intended route was closed for the winter, forcing them onto a cable car ride that vanished into a blinding white void.
At that. Oh my god. It's closed.
They were trying to open at 2 p.m, but they changed their mind because of the wind. So they're not going to open. And if you bought a ticket, they'll give you a ride.
We are literally the only two people at the top of this mountain.
Bear in mind as well, we have a flight home.
At the summit, they were met with crushing news the plank walk was closed due to dangerously high winds. They stood completely alone at the top, surrounded by a vast, haunting silence.
I think we're getting closer to the top. It's also just started raining, which isn't great. This is a moment of truth. Please, for the love of God.
No.
The next rain is close. Can't believe this. I actually can't believe this. If we would have left like 20 minutes. What has happened? Why is there so many people here? It was closed. 2 days we come here now. Today open?
I don't know.
Oh,
It's closed.
closed?
The following day they tried again, but heavy rain kept the path closed. On the third attempt, the skies cleared, yet the walk remained shut because of slippery conditions from the previous day's storm. A local they met spoke cryptically, hinting that perhaps after several failures, the mountain might finally let them through.
We come today, yesterday, and day before. Tomorrow closed?
Tomorrow is maybe, I don't know.
It was a strange remark, one that felt less like encouragement and more like a warning. A month later, Ben returned alone. This time, the stakes were higher. He had only a 24-hour transit visa. If the path was closed again, the journey would end in failure.
Wow, look how clear the sky is this time. Oh my god, it is absolutely freezing. Bad news is I only got given a 24-hour visa for China. Long story short, if the plank walk is closed today, and there is not much I can really do about that.
The weather was clear, but a new layer of snow and ice coated the cliffs, making the climb even more treacherous. With no more chances left, he pushed onward, determined to reach the planks. Finally, he arrived and the path was open. But there was a problem: solo hikers weren't allowed. Scrambling to find companions, he convinced a couple to join him, barely avoiding being turned away. Strapped into his harness, he stepped onto the narrow wooden planks bolted to the sheer cliff face. The drop below was a dizzying plunge into nothingness. Every step was a battle against fear. the cold metal cable the only thing separating him from the abyss. At one point, he descended a section where there were no planks at all, only metal rungs hammered into the rock.
I'm okay. Just a few thousand feet up with completely undone laces. About to walk over a fucking plank. Okay. Oh, knee out. If anything. Look what is sticking out of my back pocket. My passport. My passport was just sticking out of my jeans back pocket.
Then came a chilling realization. His shoelaces were completely untied. Worse still, after returning to solid ground, he discovered that his passport had been sticking out of his back pocket the entire time, just one wrong move away from disappearing into the void forever. Was it simply a string of bad luck? Or was the mountain trying to warn him? The repeated failures, the cryptic words from the stranger, and the careless oversights all carried a strange sense of design. Ben Morris completed the Huashan plank walk, but it didn't feel like victory. It felt less like triumph, and more like barely escaping something that wanted him gone. Some believe it was just coincidence, a mix of poor timing and unfortunate weather. Others suggest that the mountain itself possesses a spirit, one that tests climbers until it decides they are ready or until they surrender. Superstitious locals often speak of Huashan as if it were alive, a place that doesn't welcome arrogance or overconfidence. They say it has a will of its own, capable of humbling those who dare to challenge it. So, if a place seemed to resist your every attempt to reach it, blocking your way at every turn, would you keep pushing forward, determined to conquer it, no matter the cost? Or would you stop and wonder if maybe you were never meant to be there? The YouTube channel 401 Files is best known for its outdoor adventures, survival challenges, and occasional investigations into the unexplained. But one trip into the wilderness took a far darker turn than anyone could have expected. The uploader ventured deep into a dense forest, well prepared for a night under the stars. The chosen spot was completely isolated, far from any main roads or traces of civilization, making it the perfect place for an undisturbed camp.
Okay, so it's decision time. Decisions. I've come into this part of the wood now and it's mega dense. Like, I'm talking, there's a tree every 2 foot, kind of dense. And my thought process right now is tonight in here is going to be extremely dark. And if shit hits the fan, for whatever reason, I'm gonna have to make my way out of these woods, which is gonna be nigh on impossible. So, alternative 2 is I find another part of the wood where the trees are more widely spread apart, but then I've got the thing of I can see all around me 360 degrees for quite a distance, which is equally as scary in my opinion. But
the forest canopy above was so thick that sunlight barely touched the ground. While this provided excellent cover, it also meant that if something went wrong at night, finding a way out would be nearly impossible. There were more open areas nearby, but those came with their own risk, being fully exposed to anything or anyone watching from the dark.
I've got all these little sticks to create the perimeter. I've got my fire there, my bike obviously. So I'm going to be sleeping here next to the fire, not too close though obviously, because I've got an inflatable mattress and I don't want that to blow up. One lesson that I've always learned really helps is keep your firewood close to where you're sleeping, because the last thing you want to do is be getting up through the night when it's dark to try and put more wood on the fire. And yeah, that's pretty much me. I'll give you another angle.
As camp was set up, the forest was alive with sound birds calling, leaves rustling, and the occasional distant cry of an animal. But as the sun disappeared beyond the horizon, the forest fell into a suffocating stillness. With a fire built and his sleeping gear arranged, the quiet isolation initially felt peaceful, even comforting. Yet, as the hours dragged on, a subtle unease began to settle in. It started with faint noises, somewhere beyond the tree line, soft, rustling twigs snapping. At first, it seemed like small animals moving through the underbrush, but the sounds became clearer, slower, more deliberate. Something or someone was definitely out there. Then, without warning, a scream tore through the forest. It wasn't the cry of an owl or the howl of a fox. It was deeper raw and disturbingly human, yet off in a way that sent chills through his body.
I need to think of all the animals that could potentially be living in the same area as me, walking about, doing their own thing, so then I just don't jump to paranormal or mysterious type things. So yeah, that's always something to be wary about, is who else is living in this wood other than me. But yeah, I'll keep you posted. It's going to be dark soon, maybe within the next hour and a half, 2 hours. So yeah.
The sound carried a strange, unnatural quality that made every instinct scream to run. Grabbing a flashlight, he scanned the darkness, his light slicing through the trees. But there was nothing, only the haunting silhouettes of trunks and tangled branches. Minutes later, another scream echoed, this time closer. It sounded intentional, almost like it was trying to lure him toward the source. His pulse quickened. Not daring to investigate, he hurried back to his tent, zipped it shut, and waited. Sleep was impossible. Every slight noise outside triggered another rush of adrenaline. Hours passed until a new sound emerged. Something was moving outside the tent. The steps were slow, deliberate, almost calculated. It wasn't random animal movement, this felt intelligent, aware. Light footsteps began circling the tent, cautious but consistent, as if studying him from the shadows. The sound continued for several minutes, then stopped abruptly. Theories about what happened that night vary. Some believe it was a territorial animal. Others think it was a person, someone who had been watching him since he arrived. More chilling theories suggest it could have been something mimicking human sounds, or perhaps something tied to old local legends. Strange figures said to wander the forest after dark. If you were alone in the woods and heard slow footsteps circling your tent in the middle of the night, would you step outside to confront it, or stay silent and wait for daylight to find out what it was?
Wow, it's a good job I know what the hell that is, because I would be shitting my pants right now had I not come across that sound before. It's a female fox, a vixen, but to anybody else who doesn't know what that is, it's a woman brutally getting murdered in the middle of the woods.
Uploaded on January 16th, 2025 by the YouTube channel Jensen Matilda. This video was meant to document an exciting jungle adventure, but it quickly turned into one of the most terrifying experiences of their lives. It began as a thrilling expedition through Chitwan National Park in Nepal, a region famous for its lush greenery, dense forests, and remarkable wildlife. The couple, joined by their guide, Dennis, started their day with a canoe ride along a river teeming with crocodiles before heading deeper into the wilderness on foot. From the very start, a sense of unease lingered. Their guide explained that every person entering or leaving the park had to be logged by the Nepalese army, a rule that immediately hinted at the dangers hidden within the jungle. The canoe ride itself was tense. The riverbanks were lined with enormous crocodiles, some lying still beneath the sun, others lurking beneath the water's surface with their sharp teeth faintly visible. It was unsettling, but only a glimpse of what was to come. When they finally stepped off the canoe, the real danger began. Dennis warned them about the wild animals that roamed freely, particularly tigers and rhinos, and instructed them never to remain in one spot for too long.
In the jungle.
Anyway, I'm gonna let you for the Chitoness just certain time. Otherwise tiger come, not to stay in the one place it's long. They smell us and then come. They smell it.
Okay.
So now you are right in the Chiton.
Staying still, he said, could attract unwanted attention. The group moved cautiously, walking single file through the thick undergrowth. Then, without warning, A loud crash shattered the silence, heavy steps and snapping branches followed. Within seconds, they saw a wild elephant charging directly toward them. Panic broke out. The three scattered into the dense brush searching for cover. In this part of the world, wild elephants are far from gentle. They are known for their aggression, especially when defending territory.
We knew we needed to get as far into the bush as we could, and at this point we had no idea where Dennis was. We had absolutely no idea who Ronaldo was. Is Dennis okay? Dennis, is he okay? We sat in this bush for a total of 18 minutes. It's a wild elephant. The elephant was in complete stealth mode. Is it still there? I don't know what I mean. Our guide explained how clever these animals are, and it was more than likely waiting for us to come out of that bush. My mum and dad are gonna kill me watching this. With no clear view of the elephant and still not knowing where Dennis was, we needed a plan. We have to go low.
The couple crouched low behind the bushes, separated from their guide, and unsure whether he had escaped. They remained silent for what felt like forever later, discovering it lasted nearly 18 minutes. The forest was eerily quiet, broken only by faint rustles and the occasional cracking of wood. The sound was deliberate, almost as if the elephant was still nearby waiting. When Dennis finally located them, he motioned for them to stay still.
It's been head on with a wild elephant. I'm really scared.
So the elephant is now walking all the way down there. We didn't even get through the safety briefing before we was running. I cannot believe it.
We're now behind him, which is behind that one. Elephants, wild ones. Unpredictable. Don't ask me why I'm still filming. We're with one of the guides. Oh, mate.
Oh, I can't see.
Right.
Where's Dennis?
Yeah, where's Dennis? Either tried to detour the elephant or he's abandoned ship. I don't know. Who knows?
Whoa.
There it is.
Big tusks.
Big tusks.
He whispered that elephants are incredibly intelligent and sometimes wait patiently for intruders to move before striking. That meant the animal might still be watching them from close by. Frozen in fear, they dared not move a muscle. The moments stretched endlessly until at last Dennis signaled that it was safe. The elephant had moved on. Shaken but unharmed, the couple realized how close they had come to disaster. A few seconds of hesitation before running for cover could have been fatal. Despite their fear, they pressed on, now hyper-aware.
Deer. You see it?
Deer! Just seconds before we saw the deer running across the road, we'd learnt the fact that deers usually run from something. That something, you guessed it, tigers. Chitwan National Park homes 128 Bengal tigers.
Of every sound around them, soon after they spotted deer sprinting across the trail. Dennis calmly explained that deer often run when a predator is near, and in Chitwan, that predator is usually a tiger. With 128 Bengal tigers inhabiting the park, the thought alone sent chills down their spines. What began as a bucket list adventure had turned into a chilling reminder of how unpredictable nature can be. They entered the jungle seeking excitement, but left with a deep respect for its raw power. Experts later commented that wild elephants sometimes display stalking behavior similar to predators. Some believe this develops in regions where elephants frequently encounter humans, while others argue it's purely instinctual. a reaction to protect territory. If you were deep in a jungle and a wild elephant was silently waiting nearby, would you risk moving or stay hidden and hope it walks away? In 2023, she bought a 2018 Ram ProMaster, lovingly named it Maggie, and spent over a year transforming it into a fully functional home on wheels. Her days were peaceful, filled with scenic drives, quiet mornings, and the freedom of life on the move. But on March 30th, 2025, that calm routine was disrupted by a deeply unsettling encounter. While parked in a small town in southern Utah, Casey began her morning as usual, sipping coffee, checking emails, and editing her latest video. Then she noticed a black car driving past, unusually slow. At first, she thought little of it. But minutes later, the same vehicle returned, pulling into the lot where her van was parked and circling behind it.
That was a really short morning montage because usually I would show you guys me making coffee or breakfast here in the van, and that is just not what happened this morning. In fact, Olive and I had a fairly unsettling morning, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Casey. I live in my self-converted camper van full-time on the road with my cat Olive. So just for some context, we are in a very small town in southern Utah, and we have already switched spots, but the spot we were at last night and this morning was actually a big dirt pull-off off the main road going in and out of town. So Olive and I, fairly early, I started working on my computer and recording some footage for the vlog, and I noticed at about 7 a.m. a black car went past us very slowly on the main road here. Speed limit is 40 miles an hour, and this car was going maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour, which struck me as odd, but they kept driving, so I really didn't think much of it. Until about 5 minutes later, the same car came back down the road and pulled off into the same lot as us and actually drove behind the van. And I was close enough to the car at this point that I could see there were two men in it. One was driving and one was in the passenger seat. And they actually went up a little road that was behind the lot that we were parked in. And they got to the end of the road, turned right back around, and then very slowly started coming back down the road towards the van. So this whole time I'm sat up here in the cab area very discreetly trying to watch what they're doing out this driver's side window. But once they got close enough back towards the van, I actually moved from up here into the back area because that is where I keep my safety items. And unfortunately, I don't have a window on the driver's side back there, so I lost my visual of them, but I could hear that they pulled their car up right along the driver's side of the van, and they actually honked their horn at us, which of course I ignored. And after I didn't respond to their honk, one of them got out of the car and came up and started knocking on my driver's side window.
From her window, she spotted two men inside. They drove down a side road behind the lot, turned around, and slowly approached again. Trying not to draw attention, Casey quietly moved to the back of her van to grab safety gear. She lost sight of them, but soon heard the vehicle stop beside her driver's door. The men honked. Then one of them got out and knocked on her window. They weren't law enforcement security or anyone she knew, just two strangers standing outside her van. Casey stayed silent, ignoring the knocking until they eventually drove away. Uneasy but cautious, she waited a few minutes before deciding to move. Not wanting to lead them somewhere remote, she searched for a safer public location nearby.
Which I also ignored. And just to clarify, this was not a police car, this was not a security car. These were just two dudes in a car. So a couple minutes after I ignored the knocking, they finally left. They went back out onto the road and I watched them slowly drive away. At this point, I knew I needed to leave the lot. But I wasn't sure where I was gonna go because again, this is a small town and it is surrounded by very desolate areas. So the last thing I wanted to do was immediately try to leave town, drive out into the middle of nowhere and have them follow me. So I was looking up on my phone options for places to go, and I kid you not, 30 to 45 minutes later, the same car comes back down the road and pulls off on a street just up the road from us. So my brain is immediately telling me, oh, these guys are up the street and now they're just watching you. So I decided to come here, about 3 minutes away, to a local breakfast joint. I didn't see them follow me, and I haven't seen them in the hour that I've been sat here now. But yeah, pretty weird morning. So all that to say, you guys, I've decided Olive and I are driving about 2 hours away from here today. Feel better about doing it now that it's later in the day and there are just more cars on the road in general. And we're also going to be passing through the Four Corners, which is the intersection of Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico here in the US. There's a monument there that I will bring you guys along with me to go see. But other than that, the only priority today is finding and getting to a place where we feel safe settling for the night. So yeah, let's hit the road. I'm ready to leave.
About 40 minutes later, however, the same black car appeared again, this time parked on a nearby street within view of her van. It felt as if they were watching her. Acting quickly, she drove to a local breakfast spot filled with people and didn't see the car again. Later that afternoon, Casey chose to leave town altogether, driving 2 hours away and making a stop at the Four Corners Monument before settling somewhere secure for the night. Her experience strongly suggests malicious intent, the repeated drive-bys, the knocking, and the way they lingered nearby. For solo travelers, moments like this can escalate fast. Would you have confronted them, called the police, or driven off immediately? And what if they had followed you onto the open road? The next account comes from Tanya and Dave, the couple behind Let's Turn It Up World. Their life on the road takes them from scenic campgrounds to eccentric roadside attractions, capturing both the highs and hardships of full-time RV living. But during one overnight stay in a casino parking lot, what began as an ordinary stop quickly turned into something far more disturbing, leaving them shaken and rethinking their sense of safety. The day started like so many before, as they packed up after a stay in Lone Pine, California, preparing for a 4-hour drive to their next destination. The plan was straightforward: park overnight in the lot of an abandoned hotel next to a casino. For them, places like this were convenient, free accessible, and easy to leave in the morning. After arriving, they got settled and walked around to explore.
It definitely looks like it's been kind of abandoned over here for quite a bit. I mean, look at this, like just all the grass is growing and everything. This is very cool too. Right, looking like an old water slide, almost like a kind of those log rides, like Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain.
Come down here.
Come down and whisk right onto that one over there. That's pretty cool.
Right. This must have been a lot of fun in this day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. It looks. Hopefully they revive this. I mean, it doesn't look too weathered. Almost like with a little love, some dollars, you could probably bring this back.
I know. I don't see any signs yet of any comeback.
Yeah.
Any work on it, but maybe someday.
Yeah. It's so cool.
I agree. It's cool.
Nearby stood the remnants of an old amusement park, its roller coasters and water rides rusting silently under the desert sun. Once lively and bright, the site had become an eerie relic reclaimed by nature.
This guy right there is just like randomly came up to us and asked if we were first responders veterans, and now he's driving around the parking lot. Dude, it's kind of creepy. So I let the security guards know, but he's out there just hovering around the parking lot. Oh man, that's a little unsettling. So I just turned the lights off. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to cook dinner. This is crazy, Dave.
It's crazy. I know it is. The guy's racing around the parking lot.
So I just turned the lights off. Hold on, let's close this up. I gotta finish with my meal. No, Bubby, Mom is watching. Yikes.
Right? No, it's...
As darkness fell, the atmosphere changed. Tanya noticed a man in a black car idling close by. His questions were odd, his demeanor unsettling. After a brief exchange, he drove off, but the tension didn't fade. Moments later, the same black car returned.
There's a black car. Feels a little weird. as well, just kind of sitting there. Oh gosh. That is the same one that was there earlier. The Ford that was there earlier that also kind of circled by. Black Ford Explorer. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm just worrying too much or...
We're gonna move it on.
Yeah.
This time followed by a white van with few windows. Both vehicles circled the lot, slowly passing their campers several times before parking nearby. The people inside remained unseen, but seemed to be watching. A security guard confirmed that the man in the black car had been acting strangely earlier, deepening their unease. The couple began to fear they were being cased, their van and gear, including their bikes, possibly targeted. The white van especially looked suspicious, its build ideal for hiding stolen property. Uneasy and on alert, Tanya and Dave decided not to risk it. They packed up, turned off their lights, and quietly left the lot. On the tense drive to a nearby truck stop, they'd used before they kept checking their mirrors, afraid they might be followed. Only when they recognized the familiar spot did the anxiety finally ease. By morning, they were safe, but resolute. When something feels off, it's better to leave than wait. The experience was a sobering reminder that not every rest stop is harmless. The repeated drive-bys, coordinated movement, and two vehicles working in tandem were hardly coincidence. Whether it was a setup for theft, intimidation, or something worse, the signs pointed to deliberate targeting. In moments like this, hesitation can be dangerous. Would you have stayed to confront it? Or left as fast as they did? And if they hadn't driven off that night, what might have happened before dawn? Dylan and David are the creators behind Signs and Signals, a YouTube channel dedicated to exploring eerie, historical, and allegedly haunted places. Their latest trip took them to Lockhart, South Carolina, a quiet town with deep roots in folklore and an unsettling local legend known as the Lady in White. A ghostly figure said to appear along the river after dark. On October 30th, 2023, the night before Halloween, the two arrived for an overnight paranormal investigation. From the start, something about Lockhart felt off. The streets were still, the air carried a faint chill, and the distant sound of rushing water seemed to fill the silence rather than break it. Guided by a local tip, they drove toward a bridge said to be a hotspot for ghostly encounters. But when they arrived, they found it blocked by metal fences and no trespassing signs, leaving them to look for another area nearby. They eventually chose a quiet clearing beside the river, a place rumored to have its own share of strange events. Setting up their equipment, they placed a Ouija board on a flat surface and began recording.
I do not feel good about this. This is sketchy as hell too, man. Somebody's gonna pull up and see this. Imagine somebody pulls up and just sees us doing this.
You can see it from the road if they looked, I think.
Oh God, did they turn?
No, these might.
Dude, this is so fucking sketch, bro.
We got it. Let's get it over with.
The night was peaceful for a time, broken only by the sound of crickets and the occasional car passing in the distance.
Oh, oh, oh. Yo, hey, y'all alright? Yo, somebody got hurt.
That sounded like a woman too.
Hey. I got goosebumps, dude.
Yo, are we really gonna go down here?
Hey. Are you okay?
There's no way we can even get to whoever it is.
Maybe, like, they were down there in the water. I don't know, dude. Are we supposed to call the cops or something?
I don't really know. I feel like yes, kinda.
Could that be like an animal, though?
They say bobcats do.
Make, yeah, like a screeching sound.
Then, out of nowhere, a chilling scream sliced through the darkness. It was faint, but unmistakably human, high-pitched, long, and filled with fear. Both men froze, scanning the woods with their flashlights. For several moments, neither spoke. When the sound faded, they debated whether it could have been an animal, but curiosity got the better of them. They followed the direction of the noise toward the riverbank, calling out several times. No one answered. The woods were still again, their beams of light catching only trees and the faint glint of moving water. Just as they turned back toward the car...
Dude, what? I swear to God, I just saw something go behind the car. Lock the door. What? Dude, turn your cam on. The backup cam. Turn on. Dude, I swear I saw something white for real. Holy shit. Yep. Oh shit. What the Dude, is that just somebody out there? Dude.
Get out. Dude. Go.
What the is that, dude? Hey, who's out there? Who's out there?
Go, Dale, go. Turn my light. There he is.
Like, I can't tell, like, he was over here, right?
It's hard to tell from the backup camera. I think it was over here.
Trail right here. Well, it looks like it was over here. Hey, anybody out there? Yeah,
Something caught Dylan's eye. In the rearview mirror, a pale figure seemed to glide past the edge of their vehicle. He quickly switched on the backup camera, and there it was, again, a white silhouette moving silently along a nearby path. They rushed outside to investigate, but the spot was empty. No sound, no footprints, only the feeling that they weren't alone. Later, while reviewing the footage, they confirmed what they had seen, a faint but distinct white form drifting through the shadows before vanishing. Combined with the earlier scream, the experience left them convinced they had encountered the lady in white herself. Some locals believe the spirit belongs to a woman who drowned near the river decades ago. Others dismiss it as fog headlights or tricks of light. But the combination of a disembodied scream and a captured figure makes this case hard to explain away. If you found yourself there that night hearing the same scream and seeing that same pale figure, would you stay to uncover the truth or get in your car and drive away into the dark?